From a hotel room outside of Chattanooga, it is 30 Thoughts here on SDH AM. John, hear you there. Thanks for dropping by, as you always do. And it's a fairly full Thursday show. We know what the rundown is going to be in hour number 2. It's the Power Hour with Nino and Niko, and it's an opportunity for us to check out the Copas. It's an opportunity for us to find out what happened yesterday in Major League Soccer from his perspective. We'll get up with Niko Moreno from Pulso Sports and Sounder at Heart, and we will break it all down with him as we get ready for the weekend after a busy week on a bunch of different fronts for MLS sides. And it was an opportunity for Atlanta United to get a win in Open Cup. We'll go over that a lot here in hour number 1. And morning, Ricky. Like I said, I apologize for the signal. As I'm looking at return, and I'm looking a little hot. Looking a little hot this morning. So let's see. Is that going to work? I don't know. Is that going to? Yeah, that might work a lot more. Let me do this. A little bit more moody lighting, so that might work a little bit better. Okay, so it's going to be all of us this morning. We're going to go over Open Cup. We're going to go over CONCACAF. We're going to go over all the news. We're going to go over Champions League, and apparently one of the worst games ever in the history of Champions League knockouts happened yesterday while we were all driving up for those who were driving up to Chattanooga in the Sporting and Arsenal match. So we'll go over that this morning. We've got sound, we've got highlights, we got a bunch of things to get through in hour number 1. And like I said, hour number 2, the traditional Thursday Power Hour with Nino and Niko coming up in hour number 2. We'll go over Copas, whatever else is on Nino's mind. We get the World Cup, all the things. All right, so opening kickoff brought to us by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. You start your day with the most important stories of the game right with your morning. Black Pitch Coffee, part of the SDH community, showing up at events all over Atlanta. Try their home blend made from beans from Brazil and Guatemala. And it is heavy-bodied, notes of walnut and semi-sweet chocolate and a rich world-class finish. Opening kickoff powered by Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. In world football, we have a couple of pieces of news this morning. Bernardo Silva is out at Manchester City by his own choosing at the end of this season. No renewal contract, nothing. We'll get into gossip and innuendo depending on how we're looking, maybe at the end of hour number 1 heading toward hour number 2 or after Nino and Niko, and that might be the way to wrap up the show. I'm leaning toward the end of hour number 1. Also in news, Hugo Ekitike's diagnosis was confirmed, and so Ekitike does have an Achilles that is going to keep out with rehabilitation, and it is going to be probably 6 to 9 months for Hugo Ekitike. So obviously, anything that is attached to a World Cup thought for Ekitike, that is gone now with the injury that he suffered in the last Liverpool match. So that is the early rundown there. Let me see if there's anything else this morning that we can discuss when it comes to all of the news and all the things that nice if so. Yeah, okay. So this might be more. This might be more part of AM news and things like that. But when you're trying to do stuff, it literally is. We're all kind of at the mercy of technology these days. And so trying to dial up the numbers from last night, and I had to do it on 4 different devices here in the hotel. And like I said, this is really just me and the issues that are technology. And we all know how I am with technology. And just to give you an idea how kooky and crazy things are here in this particular hotel where I am. And like I said, I'm in the suburbs of Chattanooga, and I am on top of one of the hills that is kind of overseeing the whole thing. So let's see, how do I phrase this? Okay. I'll phrase it this way. Because of technology and the moodiness therein, this morning, just to make sure that I got everything up and running and everything was okay, and the technology, no, we do not, Abby. We do not get along. So, well, and I don't even think this particular element is me. And this is a hotel I traditionally stay in because it's on the way back to Atlanta, and it's outside of Chattanooga. And for those of you that travel Chattanooga, like on Nashville or Knoxville or anything like that, you've known perpetually that there are not enough lanes, too many hills, and everyone trying to get to the same spot without, with not enough lanes of traffic to navigate. So I made a point not to stay in Chattanooga proper, and I'm kind of out of town a little bit, and I'm headed south. So I am back in Georgia. I'm just back in Georgia. And so it's an opportunity for me to like hop on the freeway and out the door. Because of where I am and because of technology, it is really strange, but not necessarily surprising. The electronic devices, as I hold up my phone, for those of you who are just listening to us this morning, my phone and my watch. Let me see if I can grab my watch here real quick. Okay, so all right, so this watch right now is listed in Eastern Time. So it is the watch is in the Eastern Time zone. Phone is in the Eastern Time zone. And the tablet and the desktop or the laptop, they're all in the Eastern Time zone. But I literally go to the other side of the hotel room. And I mean, I'm going away from the state line, going east in the hotel room toward the sun. I literally can 6 feet in the hotel room. And my phone and my watch transfer to Central Time. I'm walking away from Central Time by 6 to 10 feet in a hotel room. And it changes from Eastern Time to Central Time as I'm walking away from Central Time. So literally, I will have my phone, and in the parking lot, it's the same way. It'll drift from Central Time to Eastern Time. I'm guessing it's because of maybe where the cell phone towers are, or maybe where things, where things are positioned. The height here of this particular hill, I'm guessing. I don't know. But because of all of these combination of factors, my phone and my watch continue to drift back and forth from Eastern Time to Central Time, and even as I'm going away from Central Time in the hotel room. So what I had to do was set 2 alarms, one on the tablet, one on the phone, on the off chance that this morning it would go off at, insert time here, and it would be an hour closer to being on the air. So I wouldn't have the time to, assemble everything that I wanted to assemble to air in the show. So I don't know if you guys have the same problems. If you're, say you're traveling north, and I don't know if this is something that now that I'm bringing this to the table that you're going to be more conscious of, or you're going to just sit there and go, well, geez, Nelson and technology again, I'm not going to pay attention to a word he has to say, but this is just a quirk, and I'm calling it that. So it is a quirk in geography because I'm guessing of height and cell towers and proximity, where I had to have, like I said, I literally have 4 devices here in the room. I had to put them on Central Time, and I had to have half of them in Eastern Time to make sure that the Eastern Time start of the show would be an Eastern Time start of the show, and that I wouldn't oversleep. Because after last night, trust me, I'm sure that Morning Espresso might be out a little late, and everything, all the other reactions from last night, they might be out a little late. Because if you caught after the whistle, on our social media here. They were at Buc-ee's on the way home, and that's where they recorded it. They recorded it in Calhoun on the drive home last night. I opted for a hotel room, and just to make sure that I would be in a hotel room, to be in a static location that has wavering time zones going back and forth on me, to make sure that I'm on at 9:05 Eastern and that I'm up in a decent amount of time to where I can assemble the show and get all the equipment together and all that stuff. So, Abby, I'm glad that I am not the only one in this quest. Abby says there's a spot where it isn't east-west, but north-south when the time zone change. The line is funky. I would agree with you. So I to make sure that I am not the only one having to deal with this, but literally as you are coming north. Now, this is just for public service going forward. As you are going north out of Atlanta, headed toward Chattanooga, literally just before you cross the state line, and I'm talking like 5 minutes, you get to Battlefield Parkway. It's exit 350. And that's where specifically I am. So you could pretty much pin down which hotel I'm in too. So you get to exit 350, the Battlefield Parkway. You're at the peak of the hill. And then once you clear this one and you head down back into another valley, you're at the split. You're at the 24-75 split, and you get to go to either Nashville or Knoxville. But literally, exit 350, I'm at the top of a hill. And because I'm here for whatever reason, proximity, height, cell towers, whatever, everything drifts literally foot to foot in a hotel room from Eastern to Central time zone. So that is your public service announcement when it comes to everything. When you're trying to go from one particular time zone to another, you now have a quirk in the system, and you know where one actually is when it comes to when you're trying to go from one place to another. Don't be surprised and don't freak out when you have something happen like this. So, like I said, I just wanted to put it out there to make sure that we were all on the same page when it comes to this particular piece of geography with travels in and around the planet. Got that off my chest. Public service announcement. The more you know. Opening kickoff brought to you by Black Pitch Coffee, blackpitchcoffee.com. We start your day with the most important stories of the game, and this one was important. I tell you it was. Right way to start your morning. Black Pitch Coffee, part of the SDH community, showing up at events all over Atlanta. Try their home blend made with beans from Brazil and Guatemala. Heavy body, notes of walnut and semi-sweet chocolate, and a rich world-class finish. Opening kickoff, powered by Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. And I mentioned the morning espresso might be coming out a little late because of the late night that folks had. Just a quick reminder, once again, if you're listening and watching us here, you pick up morning espresso, that's your natural next step with what Jason assembles every single morning. Everything we talk about here. Newsletter goes deeper on some of the main thoughts, and then Jason also has room for stuff that we don't have the opportunity to even address, except in maybe a headline, sit there and go, well, this happened. You find out more at Morning Espresso. That's the newsletter that Jason pieces together every morning. It's already in your inbox if you've already subscribed on most mornings. And if you're not, you can go to soccerdownhere.net, hit read, you're on the list. That's all you got to do. Go to the website, soccerdownhere.net, hit read, enter your, then you get to, there's a box up, you enter your email information, hit send, you're a parting Morning Espresso, and there you go, you're off and running. You're on the list at that point. So Morning Espresso, natural next step, obviously, for us here at SDH. And like I said, I subscribe to it because what it also does is it gives an opportunity for me to sit there and double check my notes with what Jason has together with his sources and his information and all that kind of stuff. So soccerdownhere.net, subscribe to Espresso. It adds to what we get to do here. It also has the opportunity to give you things a little bit more in depth and also addresses headlines we don't have the chance to because of time. Whoever thought that in our 10th season, as the World Cup is heading this way, that we would still, literally, we started, for those of you who are kind of new here, in season number 1, we were like, yeah, we probably something 10 years ago. And so we thought, yeah, we'll go an hour. And then we go an hour. And we figured we'd be going to 2 at some point. And then we get to 2, but we didn't think it was going to be like 8 months into it. 8 months in, we go to 2 hours in season number 1. We're in season number 10. There are days now, because of how the game has grown and because of all the information that is out there, that we are close to the inside joke 3-hour show that we keep talking about. We're that close. I mean, we probably do need to have an afternoon, power hour-y kind of a thing during afternoon drive for everything that happens when we sign off, and then all the player news and the management news and everything else happens at. But yeah, there are days where literally, and literally in the last month, we had a show that went 2 hours and 45 minutes. We had a show that went 2.5 hours. And those were, I think, in the same week, just because of all the guests and experts, news and things that we had stacked up. So, who knew that, we would go from 1 hour to 2 after 8 months? And we can't thank you guys enough for that, because if it wasn't for you, then we wouldn't be doing this. We wouldn't be doing it to the extent that we are. We wouldn't be covering everything to the extent that we are on a daily basis. But yeah, literally, we had a 2.5-hour show and a 2-hour 45-minute show, literally, I think in the same week, a couple of weeks ago. Morning Espresso helps out with that now. But there are still mornings where, we need to go long. Speaking of which, high school wrapping up yesterday. If you missed it, Red Clay Soccer Report presented by our friends at Kaiser Permanente. And we got to catch up with Rusty Oliver, who ended up as the interim girls coach at Chattahoochee County in Class A Division II. He's got a freshman who his team has scored 93 goals heading into yesterday's matchup with Forlow, which I think was their last match of the regular season. And today, by the way, is decision day in high school soccer for the state of Georgia. So we catch up with Rusty Oliver yesterday. We find out that he has a freshman. His team has scored 93 goals this year. A freshman has more than half of those goals. He has a 48-goal scorer who's a freshman. We also catch up with Chris Aiken, the head coach for nationally ranked Clark Central on the boys' side, 22nd in the Max Preps poll, 5th all-class in the state of Georgia. So we have that. You can catch up at Red Clay. We had all your brackets, your standings, and rankings and all that stuff. Today, it's a doubleheader on decision day. We are in Gainesville, Bobby Gruen Field at City Park for Johnson, Gainesville, and Gainesville. Maddie and Jason will be there for that one, 5:30 and 7:30 on the network. And then Drew is at McIntosh and Stars Mill, the battle for the troops. So Drew will be on SDH 2. Maddie and Jason will be on SDH 1. Decision day, 2 places at once. High school playoffs start next week when we know our schedules and where our matches are. We'll let you know about that as well. We do have some places that are circled, and we do have some projections that we have that are down the line as well. So high school season wrapping up this week, regular season. Playoffs are next week, starting next week, and then Red Clay goes to an accelerated format where we appear every day, but it may not be an hour every day. But we'll catch up with folks, and we'll let you know what happened on the day and get you set up for the day that it is in high school soccer. So we got a lot going on. Trust me, 2 hours sometimes doesn't cover it. And if we have to go long, we'll go long. So especially in this time frame. And then reminder as we get closer to the World Cup tournament itself, accelerated coverage of SDH AM and Atlanta Soccer tonight over at 92.9 The Game. It's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be daily. So you've got all of that to get into. So that's where we are this morning with all the things. All right. That was opening kickoff and a warning. Okay. We're going to start here in number 1, talk about Open Cup, talk about Atlanta United, talk about all the things. And lineup last night, it had some interesting elements to it. Hang on just a second. Let me grab my notes. So the lineup last night for Atlanta United, it was Jaden Hibbert in net, back line of Pedro Amador, Juan Barracol, Ronald Hernandez, and Matt Edwards. Midfield was a little hard to figure out. You had Will Riley, Jay Fortune, and Matias Galarza, And Jason had kind of anticipated that it would be 2 6s holding back. Would it be, it might be an inverted or a 6 just there and then having the other 2 go forward, which is what we ended up seeing a lot with Galarza and Fortune getting forward. We'll get into conversations with Jay here in a bit. Will Riley played in a place that Tata Martino admitted was a little out of position for him. But also after the match, Tata acknowledged Will's his capacity and understanding of his job when he's playing out of place. And he commended him for that last night. And then up top, you get to start with Fafa Picault, Cayman Togashi, and Alexei Miranchuk. And so that was your starting 11. And 6 minutes in, you end with a goal from Chattanooga FC. They go over top, and Juan Baracol gets beaten on that surface, and it ends up with Yves Chuyap getting a goal, and that made it 1-0, beating Jaden Hibbert to the short side, near post, making it 1-0. Then Atlanta United started to get into the rhythm of Finley, and they started to get into the rhythm of the match and understanding where they could have their inroads offensively. And a lot of the match was down the attacking right-hand side. And after a couple of chances in the 12th minute and the 14th, you also had a header that went straight to Jakupovic, once again combining with Miranchuk, Matt Edwards, and Cayman Togashi. You end up with a moment in the 19th minute. Highlights, courtesy of our friends at 92.9 The Game and the Odyssey app. It was a goal on the board for somebody who got a start last night.
Pedro, down the left channel, Jay Fortune. 6, cross shot, score!
Tell you what, I'm going to hit that over again because it's like the mute button decided it was going to take over. So let's try this again. Take 2 without a mute button.
Pedro, down the left channel, Jay Fortune, top of the box, past 1 minute, answer the 6, cross shot, score! A beautiful team goal by Atlanta United to equalize in the 21st minute by Cayman Togashi.
It's what you've been missing with Jay Fortune for a long time, coming back from that foot injury. You want him getting forward. He glides into the attacking third, gets into the 18, and a good low hard cross to the back post, knowing that Togashi is going to make.
And then you end up right there at 1-1. That was your score at the break. And let's see. Abby needs an update on Miguel. We'll get into that. David, we'll get into your statement as well, having to do with the midfield with Jay and Will, and getting into that as well. So we'll get into all of your questions. So let your questions come through on the Twitch pitch, and we'll go through the highlights. So 1-1 at the break, and then you end up with time in the 60s, and you end up with 2 goals in about 11 minutes officially. And the second goal on the board, once again, familiar faces. You end up with, and I know that Juan Baracol has been catching a lot of heat this year, and he did get beat on the first goal. Offensively, this is what Juan Baracol can give you from the back. A moment in the 64th minute, and if you go back and watch, understanding the context of where you are and understanding literally just the moodiness, and I'll use that word for the pitch at Finley. You end up with this as your second goal on the board to take the lead. First goal in 11 minutes, and was a great opportunity here. Once again, Fafa Picault with the game-leading goal.
As now, walking it up the center circle is Juan Baracol. Oh, what a through ball to Moreno coming down the right channel and into the box. He stops, he cuts to the left, passes, shot block, rebound, score! Fafa Picault! Atlanta United has the lead in the 64th minute.
What a ball to start the whole sequence. What a ball to play Miguel Almiron through from Juan Baracol. Just a brilliant pass. Got his head up, saw Almiron making the run from the backside of the center circle all the way through every line of Chattanooga. Almiron stumbled just a little bit, laid it off to Togashi, and ends up getting deflected over to Picault, who buries it off the inside of the post.
And Fafa Picault, basically what went down was the through ball from Barakal. And, I mean, it was even more than a through ball. I mean, literally the distance it was attached, probably a good 45 or 50 yards, understanding Finley, understanding the turf that is there. Barakal still finding Miguel with the right weight on the pass. Then Miguel sends it in with a cross. Cayman Toki was there, and he attempted to push it past Jakupovic. Jakupovic goes down. It gets away from Jakupovic, and Fafa Picault slams it in to make it 2-1. Then 11 minutes later, you end up with the third goal, and it was a great opportunity once again combining. It was Edwards, Luke Brennan, Fafa Picault, and Pedro Amador getting goal number 3.
Here's Edwards hitting it through at the end line. Brennan, a cutback cross. It rolls to Amador. Score! 3-1 Atlanta United on the goal by Pedro Amador. What a strange play with contact in the goal mouth. In fact, I thought maybe a penalty was about to be called, but the ball rolled to an open Amador who slammed it home.
Great ball down the right to play Luke Brennan in. Brennan didn't give up on the play. And of course, Jay Fortune's involved in the build-up early. It's Matt Edwards who plays it down the line for Brennan. Brennan cut it back. It got through everybody as Picault went down. And Amador just passes it into the open net to give Atlanta the 2-goal cushion.
3-1 your final. So once again, thanks to our friends at 92.9 The Game and the Odyssey app for those. We'll go over news, notes, and numbers coming up in a bit, but I do know that you guys have some questions. The update on Miggy after the match was strictly precautionary. Tata Martino was asked about it, and Miguel felt some discomfort, and it was just one of those things. I think it was where Miggy might have taken a misstep on that surface, and I think Jason had it kind of pegged on the call that Miggy on that surface took a just landed funny, a misstep, however you want to phrase it, in trying to be active on a particular play, and he's like, okay, I'm feeling something, and it's strictly precautionary that he was pulled at that point. So they don't anticipate it being a problem, but obviously he's going to be monitored between now and getting ready for match day on the weekend. So strictly having to do with a reaction to a step on that surface. And then you have, I know that, and Abby is asking a question. So what was that pitch surface? So I will go ahead and I will post this here. When it comes to the surface in and of itself, and the surface of Finley Stadium is AstroTurf, but it is AstroTurf that is very, very old. I will phrase it that way. I will phrase it this way. What is the pitch surface? And like I said, and I know that Abby is asking this along the lines of, so what was that pitch surface? Very, very Channing-esque. It is a surface that the University of Tennessee Chattanooga is very happy with. It is a surface, I don't know if they have plans to replace it anytime soon. But that surface has been AstroTurf forever. And it has specifically been that AstroTurf forever. So it is one of those surfaces where the home team's happy. We're talking UTC or Chattanooga FC. There is no real desire to uproot that surface and change it and or modernize it to have because you're talking probably a 7-figure investment to change the surface over from what it currently is. So the best way that I can phrase it, it's like this. And there are some of us of a certain vintage who remember before the Reds played where they play now in Major League Baseball, before where the Pirates played where they play now in Major League Baseball. They had that cookie cutter 1970s Riverfront and Three Rivers. They had that cookie cutter AstroTurf surface that gave you weird bounces, and it was basically like playing on a welcome mat on your front porch, just laid out over and over and over and over. So it was surface, and the turf that is there now has that kind of reverb to it. You don't know how a soccer ball is going to respond. You don't know how a player is going to respond. Literally, it's like playing on top of that old welcome mat that we used to have growing up in some of our front porches. So it literally is a surface that the home team's happy with, so that's what matters. UTC's happy with it, so that's what matters. And so they're not going to update the surface until they feel like they need to. Because of the quirks of the surface, it creates an advantage for Chattanooga. And you saw early on in the match where you can do all of the drills and rondos and things that you feel like you need to do. But until you get into a game state on that surface in that building, you don't truly know pace of game, how it's going to respond, how it's going to work, and all of that. And so early on, you could see that Chattanooga FC, because of how they're used to how Findlay responds to it, they know they know the quirks of that field. It takes Atlanta United a little longer to get adjusted to those quirks. And then once they did, you see that moment like from Juan Baracol offensively. You see those through balls where they kept attacking down the right-hand side with the speed that was there. They're gauging what that turf is doing. And you saw Atlanta United grow into the turf, literally grow into that surface, understand where that surface is coming from. And then the relationships that were there from a passing perspective and understanding, okay, what happened on that first goal was, once again, going long. A, you can't get beaten over the top, but B, how that responds when you go over the top. The attacking player down the right knows that ball's going to check up, and they can respond in kind and sit there and it's on the job training basically for that surface at Findlay. It has its own sticks and quirks, and it is out there, man. And so it literally is something that Chattanooga FC likes, UTC likes, so they're not changing it. So they turned it into an advantage for anybody that walks in the door. You know, in the past, when Atlanta United 2 has played at Findlay, if you were to ask, and Jason brought this up last night, if you were to ask Steve Cook, former head coach of Atlanta United 2, what he thought about that surface at Findlay, he was not a fan, and I'm being nice. So Atlanta United grows into that game at Findlay because it is a quirky surface. And that's the word I'm going to use because of age and artificiality and just whatever. So it has a quirk. It is a quirky surface all unto its own. CFC has it as an advantage. They've played to it as such. They understand its bounces, and it takes a while for the other guy to get used to it. So that's kind of where when Abby was discussing what was going on, that's kind of what it's like. So what is that pitch surface? It is exactly that. It is literally wild and crazy. So that's what you're staring at with that particular particular surface. Anyway, so yeah. So what is that pitch surface? Very Chandler Bing of you, Abby. Okay, let's get into the numbers. News out of Washington Spirit. Kate Wiesner has agreed to a long-term contract extension. So that's news from the NWSL this morning. It's like I'm getting all three leagues running through my head. Okay. Stats and numbers and post. We got to get into post. So let's do post first. After the match, it was one of the conversations that was had. Jason catching up with man of the match, Jay Fortune. for understandable reasons. So here's their conversation, once again, courtesy of our friends at 92.9 The Game after the match, Jason and Jay.
Here outside the locker room at Finley Stadium with Jay Fortune, our man of the match, on the broadcast on 92.9 The Game. 90 minutes at this level. How you feeling?
Good. As you can expect, the body's a little tired.
A little bit.
But I'm just glad to get through the 90, injury-free, healthy, and it's something that I needed to be with the group for 90 minutes. Started to try and feel like myself as much as possible, and glad we were able to get the win, most importantly.
Yeah, I felt like you had that explosiveness that I'm used to seeing from you over the years. It felt like that was the first time I'd seen it since you came back. Are you starting to feel more like your old self?
Yeah, I think throughout the last week or two, just in training, I can kind of just feel my body feeling better, the foot feeling better, the legs feeling better, and that's kind of the first step. As long as everything feels good, from then on the field will start to come naturally. And I think today was, like you said, had a few of those moments, and I'm hoping that today's kind of just the kickstart of like the confidence being back and seeing more and more of those opportunities arise.
How did it feel on the field where kind of out of nowhere Chattanooga gets that lead early, and you've been in cup games before? Sometimes it can get crazy in those moments.
Yeah, I think the message for all of us going into the game was it's not going to be easy. Don't let you have to respect the game. You have to respect the opposition. And I think with Open Cup, you see it all the time. Upsets can happen. And it's not the start we would have wanted. I think it's something that's been happening to us a little too often, conceding, in crucial moments, first 5 minutes at the start of the game, halftime, after the score, stuff like that. So it would have been nice to clean that up this game and not let that happen. But I think the reaction from everybody was key, because it's very easy to attack for 90 minutes, not get a goal, and it goes 1-0, 2-0 to them. But we did well. We dominated the game, stayed on them, and we were able to get the win.
I said at the end, it's felt like over these past couple of games, including Chicago, that the football that Tata wants this team to play, it's becoming more and more evident. And tonight felt like you got a little bit of the payoff of better chances being created. Is it starting to feel like things are clicking in terms of the overall way that you guys want to play?
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough when you have new players coming in. You've had different coaches over a period of time, and it's all it takes is just for the players to buy in and do what the coach asks of us. Tata's resume speaks for itself, so you just have to trust in what he's asking of us, and I think tonight was a good example of that. It's not guys that might have started the last few games, but it's people who pay attention in training, and when you have a group that no matter who's on the field, you kind of see the same things. It's really good to see.
Great stuff tonight, and we'll see you back at the Benz on Saturday.
Thank you, boss.
Jay Fortune and Jason after the match, and you could tell that it was after the match because of the leaf blowers on the ground at Finley. Like I said, we'll go over Jay's numbers coming up in just a bit. Also, as a part of the post-game conversation, we'll give you the quotes from Tata Martino coming up in a bit. Fafa Picault had the chance to sit in front of the assembled media, and here's just a little bit of that conversation from last night. Fafa getting a goal on the board, Atlanta United in the 3-1 win.
Okay, guys, go ahead with questions for Fafa.
How did it feel to open your account this year?
Yeah, it was important for me. Obviously, the win's important to advance. However, we were able to get through it, and yeah, scoring is always great, and I look to score a lot more going forward.
What's going on? I couldn't really make out from the press like what's going on, but it's like it just landed on your foot. You got the net, so.
Yeah, I saw Miggy making the run. I didn't know if he was gonna play it one-time right foot, but he made a good job. He did a good job to cut it back, and I think he played it back. And somebody, I don't know who may have tapped it, and I found myself there like a lot of times I have, and just tapped it in.
I felt like the movement was really starting to happen more and more with this group in the attacking third, the attacking half. Did it feel like things were starting to open up for you guys a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing, as we started to get a bit of rhythm, I can speak also for myself and for the group as well. As we started to to understand, the pitch as well is a bit different. So getting used to it as the game progressed was very important. And we just got more comfortable and started to be more of ourselves.
It felt like Jay was really starting to connect the dots for the team, getting from the back half of the team to the front half. How important was he tonight?
Yeah, he was crucial for us, very important. He was on both sides of the ball. He did very well. His breaking line runs that I know Coach asked of him, he did very well in doing that, and it was very important for us.
Fafa Picault after the match with everybody, the assembled media, as we call it. So the assembled Fafa Picault, that was part of the conversation that Fafa had with us last night. Abby, to answer your question, heading into the week, the thought for Atlanta United was that there was going to be training, don't know when, and the next availability is to be tomorrow. And you'll have the opportunity to training 9:45 as they're getting ready for the matchup Nashville. And Tata is set to speak tomorrow, and the player is currently listed as TBD. I don't know where TBD currently plays, but we will find out what TBD can bring to the table tomorrow morning at 9:45. Remember, just to give you an idea who was not available last night, it was Steven Alzate with an adductor, Stian Gregerson having his wisdom teeth addressed. I got lucky. My wisdom teeth came straight when I had braces, so I got lucky there. Latte Lawton Saba out with leg injuries. They were all listed as questionable going in. Sergio Santos with his calf injury still out for Atlanta United. So from Tata Martino last night, the questions that were raised, just to give you an idea about what Tata says he can take away from the match. Quote, firstly, in the particular situation we're experiencing, we can't give away an advantage for even 5 minutes because we gave away that advantage in this game and it cost us a goal. And then that the players who are usually not in the lineup are prepared to play, and that's important. In any case, it would have been very tempting for me to, during a run of negative results, to use more of the players who normally play. And we understood that we had to think not just in today's game, but all of the remaining games. Then the question was asked about Cayman Togashi and availabilities for Cayman. Quote, if he's on the roster, it's because we trust him. It's not necessary that he scored today, beyond the fact that he played a good game. He's also ready, and in the moment, when we consider him for more minutes over the season, then surely he'll get them because he's prepared. On Jay Fortune, team play on what he adds to the midfield. Team play, the ability to interpret what every play needs. He's a player with enormous qualities who recently now are having the possibility to have him back fully. So those are the thoughts from Tata Martino after the match. And that's what you have now heading into the matchup with the Nashville on the weekend. So, yes, there were definitely air blowers that were there. Let's get you into the numbers, and courtesy of our friends at SofaScore. We'll see if SofaScore will actually behave and give us the individual numbers that are attached to Atlanta United here. I know that there were some folks that we definitely wanted to keep an eye on when it came to the grading of the result from last night. And I also want to get into full-time team stats. But to give you an idea, Jay, and actually, and the center backs of Juan Baracol and Ronald Hernandez were higher. They were higher grades than Jay Fortune on the day. Pedro Amador, the goal, graded out the highest at an 8.2. But Jay Fortune, with his numbers last night, over the full 90 minutes, looking at his passing numbers, assist, big chance created, key pass, 35 of 38 passing, 92%. 5 long ball completions on the night. He was 5 for 5 in long balls. Then shooting stats for Jay. It was just the 2 total shots on the dribble last night for Jay. 48 touches, successful on all 3 of his dribble attempts, and the total carrying distance on 10 carries was 67 meters. Total progression 18.5 over the span of 90 minutes. And then defensively for Jay, it was 2 recoveries, 4 of 6 on his ground bells, and he did commit 1 foul. But Jay Fortune, top to bottom last night, strong performance across the board. Cayman Togashi, I know that folks are probably interested. Cayman's numbers up top, 83 minutes for Cayman before he was subbed out. and Elias Baez came in at that point to try to lock things down defensively for Atlanta United. For Kaman, 1 goal, 3 total shots, 2 of them on target, had 1 blocked, and he did have 1 offside on him in the night at Finley. 1 key pass per passing at 16 for 16, 10 for 10 in the half. On the dribble, Kaman last night, 21 touches, and he had 3 carries, total carrying distance of just under 39 meters. Defensively for Kaman on the night, had a defensive contribution, won his only tackle, had 2 recoveries, was 2 of 4 on his ground duels. So those were Kaman's number top last night, registering a 7.1. Fafa also registering a 7.1, playing the full 90. Shooting for Fafa Picault, had the 1 goal, 3 shots, 2 of them target. Passing for Fafa Picault, 78% on the night, completing 28 of 36, 14 of 20 in the opposition half as he was coming in from the left-hand side. On the dribble, 61 touches for Fafa Picault, had a successful dribble on the night, and he had 2 progressive carries with his carrying distance as well. So 14 carries, 2 progressive carries. Progressive carry distance was 16 meters. Defensively for Fafa, it was 2 defensive contributions, had an interception, 3 recovery, 3 of 9 on ground duels, and that was the night for Fafa defensively. So it was a full night for Fafa Picault across the board. And just to once again give you the starting lineup: Picault, Togashi, Mironchuk, Galarza, Will Riley, Jay Fortune. Backline, Amador Barrack, Ronald Hernandez playing as one of your center backs, and Matt Edwards, Jaden Hibbert in subs. Once again, Mig lasting 25. He came in for Miranchuk at the half, substituted for Luke Brennan in 25 minutes of work. Cooper Sanchez comes in for goals. So in the second half, you had Will Riley, Cooper Sanchez, and Jay Fortune as your 3 in the midfield. Galarza gave you 45. Luke came in and gave you roughly 20. Elias Baez came in the 83rd, and it was Kaman Togashi who got subbed out. Same for Tristan Muyumba to try to lock it down as he subbed in for Will Riley with a handful of minutes to go. So that was the player stats on the night. The team stats, that's not stats. That is not stats at all. It's like full-time stats. I'm looking for stats. Okay, fine. You're just going to give me the feed. You're not going to give me the stats. Fine. We'll go over here. All right, so full-time stats. 3 big chances for Atlanta United compared to 1. 17 total shots to 4. Chattanooga FC only had 1 shot in the second 45. 3 saves for Eldin Jakupovic compared to 1 for Jaden Hibbert. 26 fouls called in the match. And we're not going to mention the gentleman's name in the middle either. 26 fouls, 15 of those for Atlanta United. And 2 yellow cards for Atlanta United, 1 for Chattanooga FC. 6 on target for Atlanta United. 1 hit the woodwork, and that was the Ronald Hernandez shot from 35, I want to say, at the end of the first half. 13 shots in the 18, which meant that there were 4 outside the 18. 36 touches in the opposition 18 compared to 5. 2 times fouled in the final third compared to 1. 2 offsides compared to 1 for Atlanta United over Chattanooga FC. Trying to see. Passes in the final third, 117, 147 compared to 34 of 67. 39 long balls completed out of almost 60 attempts. So 2/3 of their long balls completed on the night. Chattanooga FC, 34 of 66. 5 crosses completed, 1 for Chattanooga FC. Defending, 11 total tackles for United compared to 10. Chattanooga, 11 interceptions to 4. Most of that was early, even on recoveries at 40 each. Chattanooga FC had 20 clearances compared to 10 for Atlanta United. So that's the rundown of the team stats and everything that you might need to know about those particular numbers with Atlanta United and their win. Right now, we now know the next. We just don't know the when. So Charlotte's win last night, 6-0 over Charlotte Independence, mean that they advance in the group that Atlanta is in. Other results last night. Orlando City, the purple team, knocks off Naples by the score of 1-0. And Columbus over Richmond 3-0 at City Stadium. Red Bulls beat Pittsburgh Riverhounds 3-1 in Harrison, New Jersey. DC United was your only cup set last night. It was 6-5 in PKs. One Ox advances. DC United goes home. That one was at Audi Field. St. Louis City put 4 on FC Tulsa at Energizer Park. Houston Dynamo beat El Paso Locomotive 4-1. San Jose late, and if you recognize Casey White's voice, Casey D was on that call. She was on the Naples game early, and then she was on the San Jose and Phoenix game late. So San Jose advances 2-0 over Phoenix Rising. So now that sets up the round of 16 in 2 weeks. Here's the rundown. Charlotte and Atlanta. Charlotte FC, Atlanta United. Either on the 28th or the 29th. That's the dates that are given by U.S. Soccer. We don't know the when yet, but do not be surprised if later in the day when we are off the air, they give you who plays where when. Question is going to be where that match is going to be held. Is it going to be at the Bank of America? Is it going to be at the Sportsplex at Matthews? That's the question. 28th and 29th for all of these. Chicago Fire hosting St. Louis City SC. Switchbacks at Rapids in Colorado. So you get the Mile High Derby there. Columbus Crew hosting One Knox. Dynamo hosting Lou City. The Revs hosting the Purple Team. And you get Hudson River, Open Cup style, with Red Bull hosting NYC and San Jose hosting Minnesota United. So now, looking at this, you only have Switchbacks, One Knox, and Lou City that are not first division in the final 16. So that is the that is a run of those, and I think we're going to figure out who the lowest ranking team was that is going to get the financial benefits for being the lowest team to make it the longest in the tournament. So there is that the financial remuneration. I think it's still $25,000. But the lowest team in the tournament left standing is the one that gets the paycheck there. So that's the rundown of Cup when it comes to Atlanta United and the win, and now they go to Charlotte in 2 weeks. So schedule compression continues for the 13 MLSs that are still in the tournament. And it is going to be weekend past, midweek that just happened. You have weekend again with Atlanta and Nashville specifically. Then you have New England coming in middle of next week. You have road trip, and I want to say that's to Toronto? And so then it's a road trip for Atlanta United after that. And so the schedule for Atlanta United after the game with New England, at Toronto on the 25th. Then you back. Then you go to Charlotte for Open Cup, 28th or 29th. Then you come back to Mercedes-Benz to take on Montreal on the 2nd of May. Then you take on LA Galaxy on the 9th of May. Then you go to the Purple Team on the 16th. You go to Cologne May 24th. And then you're done. You've got 5 more weeks of MLS activity before we hit the World Cup break. And you are in the middle of the chaos of weekend midweek until Chicago on the road, Chattanooga on the road, Nashville at home, New England at home, at Toronto, Open Cup with Charlotte, at home to Montreal. And then you get to catch your breath before LAG comes to town on May the 9th. So that's that is your rundown of all the things when it comes to everything. And so we will see what the lineup looks like for Atlanta United on the weekend. Obviously, we had the players that were held out because of injury. We'll see how Stion's wisdom teeth are. We'll see how the adductor muscle is with Steven Alzate. We'll see where Miggy is. We will see where Saba is, and we'll see where Sergio Santos is heading into the weekend involving Atlanta United and all of their schedule component and how they're managing it. So we'll see what it looks like there. Since we are here at the halfway point, let me say hi to everybody. Morning, Abby. Morning, Dave. Morning, Bart. And let's see. Morning, Michael. And see who else is here this morning. So let's see. And morning, morning, Jay Riddle. Welcome. Let's see. And then morning, Ricky, and morning to all of you who have in this morning. Is hour number 2, SDH AM. John, hear you there. Thanks for dropping by. We still got to get into everything that happened in CONCACAF. I figure we may take it at a time because obviously we have to discuss what happened with Seattle late last night and them getting close but not making it out of the round. And so now we know what the brackets are going to be on the left and the right-hand side when it comes to the CONCACAF Champions Cup. And the wins that are available for everybody. So Joaquim sent Tigres into the semis. Paulinho led Toluca. And you have LAFC, obviously, that they are in as well. So looking at the bracket, left-hand side, you were denied El Tráfico. You were denied El Tráfico, my friend. And so with the idea, I don't know. I'd like for you to advance, just advance once. That's all I'm looking for. So Toluca wins 4-2 and 3-0. So 3-0 last night. So 7-2 in the aggregate. So Toluca advances. They will take on LAFC, and that's the left-hand side of the bracket. We were denied El Tráfico on the left-hand side. So 1-1 and 3-0 last. And so 1-1 Cruz Azul LAFC in the second leg. Toluca shuts out LAG 3-0. Toluca beats LAG 7-2 in the aggregate. They advance to take on LAFC. Nashville, we know about what Nashville was able to do. And I'm intrigued once again what Nashville is going to look like in Saturday's match with Atlanta United. We'll have Lucas Panzica join us at 9:05, batting leadoff tomorrow to break it all down for us and what Nashville looks like in the boys in gold. We're going to look like on their road trip down to Atlanta. They held Sam Surridge out because of a hamstring injury. Obviously, that's going to be one of the things to pay attention to. Will Surridge play? How many minutes will you give Hani Mukhtar and Christian Espinosa? Because there were a lot of folks that put in a lot of minutes. We'll get into that with Lucas tomorrow and find out if it's going to be something of a rotated side and if the guns are going to be on the bench, possibly coming in and giving you 30. We'll see what BJ Callahan is thinking. We'll catch up with Lucas tomorrow and get the intel there. So Nashville advances after the win at the Azteca. And then Seattle wins it last night 3-1 on the evening. But because of the goal that was scored by Tigres advances. And so it was 3-3 after 180 minutes, but the road goal by Tigres means that they move on. We'll catch up with Niko Moreno and find out what his thoughts are and find out what the vibe is after a late night involving Sounders and Tigres. But Nashville, Tigres, LAFC, Toluca. Our buddy Nino is set to join us here in it because he sent me what he wanted to discuss. And we'll find out what is on his mind when it comes to all the Copas. I do have to add about the team that played Santos and their 52-year-old team president that wanted to suit up and go up against Neymar. So our buddy Nino up here in just a sec. Since he sent me the notes, I know what it means. Abby, public service announcement. Drinks with frenemies. Friday night, 7 o'clock at Reverb. Supporters groups, Atlanta United and Nashville hanging out in one place. Okay, it is hour number 2. And it is that time to catch up with our man. See, he is in his studio in Lima, Peru, in a hotel room that drifts between time zones. So we'll see what this is going to be like. I have collision thinking in my head. It's Thursday, which we always sit there and we go, yellow, yellow, yellow. How you doing?
Yellow, yellow, yellow. Soccer Down here, fans. Nino Torres with you. I'm back. I am fully loaded, baby. I absolutely loaded this morning. I'm so pumped to be here again, guys. And it's been a massive Thursday, man. It's been massive, and it's been a massive weekend. There are lots of things happening in the world of soccer. You got beautiful stories. So get ready, fasten your seatbelts because Nino Torres is here, baby, and Soccer Down here.
You know it. We're going to start Libertadores and Universitario And you also have a beautiful story of Barasapoko Njai. But where do you want the beautiful story? Do you want to lead off with the beautiful story, or do you want to lead off with the Coppola Libertadores and Universitario?
Let's start for the beautiful things first, man. We leave the toxic relationships for later, man. Because my God. So yeah, guys, I don't know if you heard about this guy. Have you, Johnny? All right. Baraka Sapoko Ndiaye. All right. What's the story of this guy? So last year, he Bayern Munich play a friendly with an Gambino Stars, which is an African academy soccer in soccer academy. In this kid, caught the eye of Vincent Company, right? 17-year-old, okay, all right. So he made the arrangements after they left the country, and he said, you know what, bring this guy up to Bayern Munich. I want this guy in Bayern. Okay, so a year passed by, all the paperwork, everything gets done, and he got his passport, his community passport too, and at the age of 18, without playing a single minute in professional soccer, without going to the stages, no under 17, no under 16, no under 15, nothing. Make his debut at Bayern Munich at the age of 18 without any other formations in soccer academies in Europe. He was at the right time at the right place. We never know, right? We never know. That's why you gotta give your 100% every single time, because you know who's watching, you know who's listening to you. Somebody out there is watching you. Somebody out there is listening to you. And if you just give your 100% every single day and every single moment at your job, at your performances and everything, your chance will come. And this is another proof, another beautiful story that happened in soccer. How many times we've seen stories of players that they were, freaking, what's his name? Gabriel Jesus. He was painting graffiti. He was painting graffiti outside the stadiums in the World Cup in Brazil. And then 2 years later, he's in the Premier League. So there's so many, but this one is just a perfect moment, the perfect story for all young soccer players out there. Guys, just give you 100% every single time. You don't know who's watching. Vincent Company might be watching. Pep Guardiola might be watching. So your next game, the high school, get your mama recording your game, because somebody's going to watch it. Somebody's going to see it, and you will have the chance of your life to become a superstar.
Okay, so then let's stick with the good stuff. Well, since you started with the good stuff, we'll stick with the good stuff. Simeone, is this your time? Yes, proper hydration, because I know you're already fired up about it. So Simeone, is this your time? Is he going to ever wear a color other than black when he is the Johnny Cash of the beautiful game? There that day where he will wear all of the colors of the rainbow, but until then, he will always be known as the man in black. See, I actually did this morning. Is this?
I love that, man. I love that. Johnny Cash singing tango. Huh?
Is this Diego Simeone's time?
I would love to. I would love to. I just would love to for him to win this one. I think he's just another. He's a proof of resilience. He's a proof of a guy that never gives up. And it's been so many years, man. I don't know how many years. I think he's the longest head coach in Europe. He's how many years he's been there? I think he's 2012. Is it
704? 704 years. That's how long he's been.
740 years?
yeah, he's been there 704 years. I'm checking really quick.
I think it's like 10 years, maybe.
Actually, it's 14 and a half. December 11th, second longest.
11. You see, I think it was 2012, but it's 2011.
Second
yeah,
longest serving manager in Europe currently.
Yeah, he is, and he's gonna be right up there with Fergie in terms of tenures, because Fergie was 17 years, at United, and he most likely he's not gonna leave this year. Whatever happens in the Champions League, whatever happens in La Liga. But back to the story of this Champions League. He's the proof that you gotta believe in what you do. He believes in what he does, and he hasn't changed. Johnny, is everybody's complaining, oh yeah, he's so defensive and this and that, he parks the balls and la la la. No, he's in Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
His team is in the Final Four. But forget about the defensive stuff. Okay, let's talk about Griezmann. Let's talk about Julian Alvarez. Let's talk about Koke, who's been with Simeone for like forever. He's the heart and soul of the soccer operations for Atletico. And let's give them the credit, right? Let's give Atletico the credit. Okay, he was at the press conference, and this reporter asking, "Hey, what did you did this wrong? How could you improve it?" And he was like, "We're in the Final Four, baby. We are in the Final Four." I just think about that for a second. We are in the Final Four on the top of the planet.
Mm-hmm. This is with Simeone. You may not dig his style. You may not dig. I mean, it's not for everybody. Obviously, if the fans of Atleti, they know what they're getting with Simeone each and every single time. You not dig it, but the bottom line, like you said, at that reporter's question, dude, all you got to do is sit there and go, scoreboard, babe. Where am I? Who's at home? Everybody else but 3 other teams and us. And it's because of how his approach is. It drives people crazy. It forces you into thinking outside of the discipline that you're supposed to have under 90 minutes. Literally, it is a staring test. No, Simeone, never have a staring contest with Diego Simeone, because he's going to whoop your you-know-what. And he's in the Final Four because of how he's brought things together.
And he having his kid playing for him too, that's it is a controversial decision. It's just who has the chance to play for his father? He took the risk. He took the risk on bringing Giuliano, because what if he didn't work out? What if he didn't work out? He'll be under heavy criticism, because you don't give the opportunity to these kids from the academy of Atletico. You bring your own kid, but he got the balls to bring him in, and you gotta have those, man, and you gotta have those to make those kind of decisions that are, you are on the edge. You're right walking on the edge, because it's this. Nepotism, is that right? Is that in English too? Nepotism, is that right? Nepotism, or not? What is it? You really bringing your kid because he's your kid, or you bringing him because what he can bring to the table for the team? And he did it anyway.
Yeah, strong stuff. And like I said, scoreboard, babe. I mean, literally, that's all he's got to do. All he's got to do is wander outside of the scoreboard at the Metropolitano and sit there and go like that. All he's got to do is this. Yep. At the end of the day, like I said, it may drive you nuts, and it's easy to take the under. It's the easiest play on the board with your juice boxes when you're going to Atleti, but he's got him in the Final Four. Okay, we're going to continue the good stuff. The massive evolution of Luis Diaz. What do you have here?
Many players left the Liga Portugal for the Premier League. Many players, you can Ruben Diaz, you got Mateus Nunes, you got Pedro Porro, you got Victor Gyökeres, you got many of those players, right, that left the Portuguese league to go to the Premier League, because it's the best league in the world right now. And who's the player that stands out? They came from the Portuguese league. Well, from Bruno Fernandes, I would say Bruno, right? Yeah. But outside of Bruno, it's hard to find another player that reached the level of success that requires and demands the Premier League, right? Yeah. Luis Diaz did that at Liverpool, and then he went to Bayern, and it's like when he was at Porto was sensational, right? I called many goals from him, but then he went to Liverpool, and when he played in Liverpool, he evolved. He became even more physical. Even though this guy is not that strong, it's kind of skinny. Actually, matter of fact, if you guys don't know the story about Lucho, he was sidelined. He was overlooked because he was so skinny when he was playing in Colombia. But Johnny, he was really skinny. I'm talking about 120 pounds.
Wow.
All right. So he was really skinny. And I think it was Valderrama, or I forgot who he was. It was another superstar player in Colombia that took him under his wing, get the proper nutrition and everything. And he made it up, and he is what he is now for that. But now at Bayern, everybody talks about Vini, everybody talks about other players, but for me, he's the best winger in the planet. He is the best winger on the planet. People might not agree with me. They might not agree with me, but I'm going to tell you right now, he is the best winger in the planet because he adds not just speed and power, but he comes up with these finishes, man. We said this before, Johnny. If you're a winger, you can't finish. You just, I don't know, play badminton or something. Okay. But he can't. He adds these critical goals. I mean, critical goals for Bayern. You know, late goals. You know, goals that they're so heavy. There's such a heavy impact for the team and for the game. And at the same time, we were saying about is this a time for Simeone? It was not on the topics, but Harry Kane is in the conversation right there. He was tired of not winning anything at Tottenham, and probably I don't know when Tottenham was going to win something, but
No.
I don't know when is that going to happen.
No.
But he decided to go to Bayern, and
they might win the championship next year to get promoted back to the Premier League. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
I think so. I don't know, but yeah, Johnny. So, what do you think about this? About my statement about the Lucho Diaz being the best winger on the planet? Am I close, or give me another name? All right, let's put it that way. Give me another name, okay, that is bigger and better than Lucho Diaz.
Wow.
In his position.
Okay, so
I'm gonna tell Vini. You're gonna say Saka. Who are you gonna tell me?
Well, I mean, and
Carvajal. No.
Doku?
No. Don't you dare go in there, Johnny. I mean Doku. No, man. I'm better than Doku, man. I'm 51. By the way, this is off topics too, right? Sunday leagues. You know, we are playing Sunday leagues.
And
I'm playing over 30.
We follow you on the gram, brother. So I see you storming out there.
You see? So I'm playing over 30s. I am 50, but I'm playing with 30-year-olds. I scored a poker, 2 headers included. Oh my God, it feels so great, man, when you scored that many goals in one day. But anyway, I just want to throw it out there.
You know what? You scored more goals than Spurs have recently. Did I say that out loud?
What?
Did I say that out loud? You scored more goals than Spurs. Yeah, I got to make sure that I say that before you take your hydration break, because I don't want that to go over all of your equipment. Fubo TV's Nino Torres as always. And I mean, in the match yesterday, Bayern beating Real Madrid 4-3, 6-4 on aggregate.
It was for the ages.
Woo. I mean, literally, it was trouble. It was trouble
epic
for Bayern. Literally, this is what was happening. So I'm in a hotel just south of Chattanooga because of last night with Atlanta United and Chattanooga FC. So I check into the hotel on my way to the stadium in downtown Chattanooga, and Real Madrid looks like they're going to do it. They're top. It's 3-2, and I go in and check in at the hotel, drop off the suitcase, and then I come back out to the car, and I see that it's a 4-3 final, and that Bayern has advanced. And I'm like, what in the hell happened here? I've completed the comeback and everything. And so the lesson for me is don't check into a hotel in the final 10 minutes of a match in Champions League. That's the lesson. That's my lesson here. Oh, when you moved everything, you froze. You moved everything and you froze on me. This is what happens. He moved everything. Something happened with his cord. And so, of course, then that's when all hell breaks loose. We were doing so great. We're doing great. And then he moved everything. It's like I heard him fine. And then all of a sudden, you saw it. He moved to his right. He moved to his right, messed with a cable, and then everything went boom. Everything went boom. I mean, it was that close. We were doing so well. We're doing so well. And then equipment gets in the way. We talked about everything that was going on with equipment, how I am with technology. And we were done because, and for those of you that might be catching it the first time, Nino is in Lima, Peru, and he gets to come on and hang out with us every single week. And let's see what happens here.
We're good.
It's like a cable went nuts and you froze.
I know. I just realized the battery was going low and low, so I just got plugged it in. But I wasn't that quick enough, so I plugged it in out. We're good.
Okay. Now I know. Okay. So, so my lesson yesterday was never check into a hotel in the final to the match in Champions League because I missed the comeback. Can't take
and it's crazy. And also, if there are multiple games, pick one.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to watch. I'm gonna switch it off. No. Don't switch it because you're gonna miss a good stuff like me, right? I was Jesus, man. It happens when it comes to Champions League. I just gotta pick one. Just pick one, Nino. I want to see Liverpool, but I want to see Inter. Pick one freaking game because you're gonna lose the action. And you're gonna think, this game is better. No, it's not better. The other one is better. So that's my advice. If you have multiple screens, that's a different story. But if you're on one TV, stick to one game and one channel, brother, please.
Yes, because your first instinct is always the best. All right, let's get into the heavy. Universitario and the Copa Libertadores toxic relationship. What happened here?
So we have a chant, right? We have a chant in Universitario. The Copa Libertadores is my obsession, right? But there are obsessions, and they're one kind of obsessions, the good ones, and then the other ones that they take you to I don't know where, man. But anyway, so
lights out and dark places you don't want to go.
Yeah, you don't want to go there. You just because it's hard to leave those places.
Mm-hmm.
So this year the signings for Universitario, we been asking for a number 9, for a true 9 for like years now, even though we have Alex Valera is the leading striker. Every year he's got the most goals, MVP of the league last year, but still, in order to succeed in the Copa Libertadores, you need a real killer, a true killer, a continental killer. We don't have that with Alex Valera. We don't have it. And so we went ahead and brought in Sekou Gassama, right? The Senegalese guy who played, I think, like 20 minutes last year. All season long, right? Okay, don't be that bad. All right, he played 2 games. All right, 2 games in the entire year. All right, so I was just all right. I was just being, optimistic, and I brought in to the audience, my audience, because people was asking me about Gassam and all that, and I said, there's a story about another African striker in the MLS that it worked out perfectly. Remember Kai Kamara when Greg Berhalter went back to Columbus, and in the first year it was average. I think if they finished mid-table or something, but because they didn't have a striker, so they went ahead and signed Kai Kamara, who was not playing in the Premier League the previous year. I think he played like 4 or 5 games, and then he came back to the MLS and he was a leading striker. They went to the finals and all that. So I was always keeping that in the back of my mind. This might be the chance. This is, but also at the same time, I was people was asking me about Gassama. I want to see him playing 90 minutes. I want to see playing start a game and finish the game. But also, most importantly, I want to see him. What is his first touch? The very first ball that he touches, and I will tell you if that guy works out or not. And I saw that first touch. Was like,
You're like, oh, no.
this is not. This is not gonna work. All right, so it's like, don't be that dark, Nino. Just give the guy a chance. All right, I'm gonna give you another chance. Boom, next ball, boom, crashes into the defender. Boom, next cross. He was, there are few things, there are few signs of a player if you know if he's elite or not. A striker, his movement, his mechanics, right? His mechanics when he jumps to get the crosses. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this guy, what is he doing? I was like, well, he was like crumbling like a freaking spaghetti in the air, like doing, I don't know what he was doing. He couldn't get a single header done properly. The guy's strong. He crashes into defenders. All the Chilean players were bouncing off his body. But Universidad de Deportes, they couldn't figure it out the way to score a freaking goal, man.
Oh.
And they were rushing the passes. They were so anxious. I think they need to, I don't know, go to a yoga class or something. I don't know, get a guru or something. These guys who ASMR. I don't know. It's something to relax their minds because I think the pressure is way too strong on Universitario. And in the next game is against Nacional. From Uruguay, and they're coming with El Diente Lopez, with Niko Lodeiro, and yeah, you better be ready. You better be ready. On the bright side, when playing Nacional, is like the issue that Nacional has is that there's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You don't know which team are you going to see from Nacional. Is it going to be the massive goal scoring machine, or is it going to be an average team from the third division in Uruguay? Sometimes they play like that. They don't have a midpoint. They're super good, they're super bad. Hopefully, we got a super bad night from them when they arrive to Lima to play at the Monumental. I think it's in the 29. I think it is 29 or 24. The game against Nacional. I don't know. We'll see. I still have hopes, but when we saw this draw and we saw Coquimbo, we saw Nacional, we saw Torres Tolima. Okay, we don't have Palmeiras, we don't have River, we don't have Boca. We have a chance here. We have a chance to advance in the knockout stage for the second consecutive year. I'm not so sure now. I'm not. I want to see. Probably I'll go to the stadium to see Nacional. I want to see that live. I want to see that firsthand. I want to see that because it's different when you watch a game on TV and then when you are at the stadium. There are many other things that the camera doesn't show you, and it's always better if you want to analyze your team. You gotta be at the stadium. You gotta be right there because to see all the movements and everything. Because the stuff that the camera doesn't show, sometimes they're the critical in structure of teams, man.
It was bad news for Boca with their keeper, and it was in game. And so Boca right now, they've won their first 2 matches in Group D, but they're going to have to do it now without their starting keeper. And so it's going to be an uphill battle for them in that. Did in the matchup involve dear friend in South America? the guy who owned is like the team president of the team that went up against Santos, 52 years old. He's and he puts himself in the lineup. He puts himself like in the 18, and he says he wants to play against all of these dudes. I don't know if he got the chance to play against Santos, but his team, like 9 of them in the pyramid, had a 1-1 draw, and Neymar had to answer to folks after the 1-1 draw with Santos. That's I think Clase, I think is who it is. Yeah, that was kind of a bad scene when you get a 1-1 draw to a team whose president wants to put himself in the match day long. I'm just
it's just insane. You know, sometimes we got these crazy people. You know, those guys from Barracas. No, what's Barracas? What's it? No, Deportivo Riestra. That they play this influencer on the tournament. They were doing their workouts at 2 a.m. the Friday night at the beach. Yeah, sometimes South American soccer is so.
Deportivo.
What was the word for that? Unique.
Yeah, sure. The word unique. Deportivo Recoleta. What I was trying to think of. Let's see. Reporters and fans in the thin red line. What's up there?
You know, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful story too, right? But I was watching this. It's all over the social media stuff. This reporter, he was asking a fan of Boca Juniors. You know, they were talking casually, you know, asking questions and stuff like that. And you saw the chemistry, right, between the reporter and the fan. And it comes up at the end of the interview. The reporter asked her, "Do you follow us on Instagram? You follow our page?" And no, you gotta follow us now. And then he got the phone and he said this, right? Just for the record, guys, I'm not asking her for my Instagram. This is this is the show's Instagram. And then the girl said, "Oh, I don't mind if you give me yours." Oh, okay. He's like, "All right, guys, lights out. Interview is done now. We gotta go." So it was so nice. He was so smooth. He was, you know, the both of them were engaged, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful to see the girl happy, the guy happy, and I don't know who knows what's going to come out a love story out of that, but that's the beautiful part. But then there's the other part, right? There's the other part when reporters are going, they cross the line, or when the fans cross the line, like when reporters are doing, and somebody comes here, tries to kiss you, and it's hard, right? It's a thin red line, because this is a cool story, but could have been a creepy story. Maybe the guy did it wrong, or the girl did it wrong. I don't know. So, but what do you see this, Johnny? Because now we are exposed to this, and we gotta be careful. We gotta be. I mean, look, if you're respectful, you can't go wrong. You just can't go wrong if you go respectful. That's it. Whether there's a thin red line or the fat red line or whatever, if respect is on the pitch, you're safe. That's my my take on this. What do you think about this, Johnny?
Amen. I mean, I'm right there with you, brother. It is a thin line, and you have, there's that level of trust that you have with those that you have the everyday interaction with, and you trust that interaction is going to be on the square. No, I'm right there with you. Last thing, World Chronicles, and it's a bed instead of a cabinet. I would shudder to think that if this individual that you're discussing here has more than one trophy, he's going to need a bigger bed, right?
Yeah, maybe they got 4. They got 4 trophies. The Italian national team, they got 4 World Cups. But this is back in the day, John. World War II, okay, right? You know, things were going crazy in Europe, and you know the German army was, you know, taking over and doing insane stuff. So this guy Ottorino Barassi, right? He was the vice president of the Italian Soccer Federation. You know, he decided, you know what the Nazis are doing with the banks, I don't think the trophy is safe there. So I want to take the trophy with me, and I'm gonna put it in a safe place. He put the trophy under his bed.
Oh wow.
Under his bed. And the crazy part is that the Gestapo got into his house, right, in 1941. So they went on a raid at his home, and guess what? They couldn't find the trophy. They couldn't find the trophy because he just put it under his bed, casually there. They tore apart everything, the cabinets in the kitchen, everything. And it was just right there under his bed, along his shoes. And that's how he saved the Jules Rimet trophy from being taken from the Nazis in 1941. Can you believe that?
Fantastic. I love that. That's why I love it when you get to bring this stuff at the end of everything. You got games this weekend?
Oh, heck yeah, brother. And I don't have the derby. I don't have the derby because in that game is gonna decide the title. Because if Sporting wins, they're gonna stay alive for another 4 or 5 weeks. But if there is a draw, if there is a draw or loss for Sporting, Porto could claim the title probably with 2 games on hand.
Mm-hmm.
With 2 games on hand, they do got like 5 games left. But I'm gonna tell you this: if Sporting doesn't beat Benfica on Sunday, Porto is gonna win with a game or 1 or 2 games on hand. That's my prediction. And I have what do I have on Saturday? We got Casapia Santa Clara. Horrible team, Casapia. Horrible.
Oh man, but we love the fact that you're on Fubo TV. I love it when you get to visit with us, my friend. Keep selling everything, Nino the Baker on the IG, the Insta, and the Gram, and keep having us adding 10 pounds. And we got to figure out this gold belly from Peru up.
Oh, Johnny, don't go. Give me 10 seconds. I want to show you something. Just to make you. I want to show you.
Here comes the dessert. Yeah. So yeah, here comes the dessert. By the way, Niko Moreno in the bullpen. He's getting ready for us here. So Niko in the green room, and I'm not going to bring Niko in to look at the dessert because we're both going to just pay the piper on this thing. And so I'm just gonna have Nino look. Oh, good Lord, son, why do you do this to me?
This is leches, bro.
Why do you do this to me?
Nah.
You, sir. Nino the Baker on the Insta, the IG, and the Gram. Love you very much, my friend, and thanks for making us gain 10 pounds virtually from Peru. We're gonna get this figured out. Trust me, we're gonna get this figured out.
We will, brother.
All right,
we will.
Weekend. We'll see you next week. Bye. There he goes. There goes Nino. And that's right. We got to ask what cup of coffee. Yeah, then in the mug. See now he had to race out of the room, and so now it's time to get Niko in here. And Niko has which cup of coffee? And that's the big question on the board. So there he is. We're going to do that. What cup of coffee are we on, sir?
Yeah, this is cup number 3. I have very little sleep. I got here last night from the game, maybe 12:45.
Okay.
Then I have to rewatch the game, of course, and then I got up at 4:30 with the boss to go to the gym. So very little sleep, but I am here ready to go because I got a responsibility to be on SDH with the SDH family. So here we are.
All right, so let's get into the late night and of maybe 12 hours to think about it, minus nap. It was a deficit that had to be made up. It was made up, but then an away goal makes the difference. What do you think about Seattle on the rush to try to make it through, but just falling just short of goal?
Look, it was a good game and a great effort by a team that, in my opinion, was the better team in the second leg, at least. They were able to play through pressure. I thought that they were coming and building out of the back pretty well. I thought that Jordan Morris, although he missed some big opportunities in the first half, was able to forget it, reset in the second half. Brian Smetzer does a good substitution by bringing on Danny Masovsky, pushes Jordan out wider, and I think that Jordan ended up having a pretty decent game. You know, he gets the assist. I thought that he created some big chances. He was able to regain his confidence because once he had a couple of those moments in the first half, which I'm sure he wants back, you could see him lose a little bit of the confidence and just put his shoulders down a little bit. So it was nice to see that. I thought Paul Rothrock was good in the first half, but lost effectiveness in the second half. That's maybe a substitution that I think should have been done a little bit earlier. And not anything against Paul Rothrock. I just think that the game, as it went along, and Tigres started to park the bus closer and closer to the goal, it didn't really give him a lot of space to run into. I thought Albert Rusnak needed this type of game. He was excellent in this game. Through ball after through ball. He gets a golazo there for that second goal. He was able to, the third goal actually, the equalizer of the aggregate. I thought he was just phenomenal. And for a guy that gets a lot of criticism because of the DP status, gets a lot of criticism because of his style of play, I enjoy it. I think that him and Jesus Ferreira work extremely well together. So overall, it was a great effort. Atmosphere was phenomenal. The grass looked good. The grass played well. Nobody complained about the grass, which was good to hear. But overall, it does feel like the Sounders missed a chance here. And I was happy to hear Danny Masovsky agree with me that if you are more aggressive in that first leg and you do more to get that away goal, then you don't put so much pressure on yourself for that second leg. And that road goal ended up costing the Sounders going through to the next round. I mean, you know, that's the reality. And I think if Brian Smetzer had to do it all over again, he would reassess that game. You know, he mentioned during the week that it didn't work to leave Ferreira off the field, and that's just what it is. And he said it was my decision. It was a tactical decision, and it didn't work. So, you know, he took responsibility for that. But I do think that their first leg ends up costing the team. But overall, I do feel like this game, this performance is going to catapult this team to have a good restart of the MLS season. But it was a tough break for the team.
So then how do you envision things happening against all caps this weekend, where right now Seattle's a minus 141. St. Louis City is a plus 400. Draws a plus 270. You're the late night game on Saturday. Obviously, that helps out a little bit. But how do you envision starting 11 rotation? What are you thinking here?
Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be some rotation. Team is tired. The team probably wants to turn the page and get going with the win. But if there's a certainty is that Tino Lopez is going to play this game, probably next to Jackson Reagan. I could see maybe Nuhu, who came off the field extremely angry when he gets pulled off for Hassani Dotson at the end. I think that he will rotate as well. You might see a Cody Baker there. You know, you could maybe see a variation of changes. Maybe Seattle plays with a back line of three and plays with wing backs. I think Paul Rothrock for sure won't be in this game. I mean, he came out exhausted. He has gone 90 after 90 and then put in a big shift against Tigres. So I think that there will be a lot of rotation. However, I do feel like this team, if anything, has shown that when they rotate, they keep the same style of play, same intensity. I think at home with the fan base, and again, trying to turn the page from this loss, I feel like they'll have a good performance against the San Luis team that wants to play good soccer but doesn't quite get the results. So I think that the Sounders are going to be right in the front seat of this game.
Then you look at the Final Four in the CONCACAF Hemispheric Extravaganza. Nashville gets the result at the Azteca, which I think blew everybody away, getting the 1-0 win. And you end up getting that. Nashville on the right-hand side of the bracket. It was an opportunity, obviously, for Seattle. So Nashville advances right-hand side of the bracket, and you now have Toluca, and you have the left-hand side of the bracket where LAFC now has a window. And so we were this close to El Trafico, didn't quite get it. LAFC now, I think, has another window. They don't care who they play. They can line them up on the 5, and play on Sunday afternoon at 2. And then on the right-hand side, Nashville's made their way in. What do you think about the Final Four now?
To be honest, it feels like the 4 deserving teams. I mean, Toluca has been, without a doubt, the favorite. They've played like the favorite, and they struggled a bit in that first leg against LA Galaxy, but then they got down to business. They locked in, and as much as the LA Galaxy, I thought that they had a good effort as well. Toluca was just a better team, so they're obviously the front runner to take this tournament. I thought Nashville was very good. I have been so high on BJ Callahan's Nashville since last year that is good to see him with some more talent and a lot more tools be able to put up this type of historic win. Because don't get it wrong, that's a historic win for this Nashville team, for MLS, to go and win at El Azteca, whether it's after renovations or not, and whether that's going to curse them or not moving forward. But the reality is that Nashville has been very good on both sides of the ball. I mean, they're so disciplined. They hold their shape so well, and then they're able to really create, and not just individually with Espinosa and Mukhtar and finding Sam Surridge, but just overall, just good patterns of play, good offensive movement. So I'm high on Nashville. And then when it comes to LAFC, man, look, they are, even beyond Nashville, because I do like Nashville. I've been high on this BJ Callahan team. LAFC is the front runner for MLS. I mean, they just look unreal. They have the star power, they have the good coaching, and they have a phenomenal defense. So I do feel like LAFC is the full package, if you will. And I mean, hopefully we don't get an early final if Toluca and LAFC get placed. But I think that this year's champion is going to be one of those two, either Toluca or LAFC.
Okay. Then let's turn the page and get into Major League Soccer here. In between the time that you were visiting with us last and the time visiting with us now with a cup of coffee number 3, repping the Pulse as you always do, we've had 2 coaching changes. One, I think they were both shocking for different reasons. Marco Donadel in Montreal. Once we see the profound lack of patience from Joey Saputo, and I've referred to Joey Saputo as the George Steinbrenner of Major League Soccer. The only thing is, though, is we don't have a Billy Martin yet. We don't have that manager that he continues to hire and rehire and fire stuff. We don't have the Billy, but Montreal, Marco Donadel only wins 7 of 36, I believe. I think it was 7, 20, and 9 in his tenure. It's about no post-match media availability for CF Montreal after the loss last weekend. Scribes and every follow CF Montreal finds Dell in the parking lot as he's leaving, rolls down his window to the car, doesn't really say a whole lot, acknowledges, hey guys, it's not like, hey, you got me, but they're asking him about his future and all this kind of stuff. He really doesn't volunteer a whole lot. And then you get the word from that Donadel is out in Montreal. And then, and we can take it a team at a time, but then you get the stunner, the number 1 stunner. Javier Mascherano, for personal reasons, is leaving Messi and friends. And now they have Hoyos coming in to be the caretaker for the foreseeable future. And now the rumors are rampant as to who they're bringing in from Sir Alex Ferguson. They would be wanting to bring in here. So CF Montreal coaching change, sadly not surprising considering track record. Near Miami, coaching change. That one was the one, obviously, that was stunner that, of course, didn't break while we were on the air live.
So, as you mentioned, two very different scenarios, circumstances, teams.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with Montreal. I mean, that one just continues to intrigue me or puzzle me.
Yeah.
Of the lack of self-reflection that there is in the front office of Montreal, and continue to just rotate these coaches and change nothing of their operation up top, not bringing in more talent, not providing more tools, not creating a pipeline of players. I mean, Montreal is just a team that almost feels happy just be part of MLS. And look, as someone that it is not against pro rel, but doesn't think it is what's going to make MLS all of a sudden this number one league in the world. This is the type of team that you do wish that just change ownership or just change something about it, because they have been atrocious year after year, and it doesn't do good for the league. So I understand that maybe giving Philadelphia that win maybe is the straw that broke the camel's back, which seems kind of funny. But the reality is that the problems with Montreal are far from being on the bench. They're not on the coaching staff. They're not on the training ground. It's upstairs. And until that changes, it's going to be the exact same, maybe not the same carousel of the same coaches, but a carousel of multiple coaches coming in and realizing that there's just no way out of that circle. And then when it comes to Mascherano, this might be a thing as well. Look, anytime that you hear that for family reasons a coach leaves, or both parties decided to part ways, that someone's not happy, that there's more to the story.
Yeah.
And as much as I don't know, I don't have insight to this particular situation, I can tell you that what I learned from the Tata situation is that it's extremely hard to be a coach at Inter Miami. There is way too many Chiefs, not enough Indians. Everybody has an idea. There is a almost unnatural amount of pressure for that specific franchise. You have the Jerry Jones of MLS trying to tell you that he could bring Pep Guardiola to be the next coach, and that's going to take us to the next level. He continues to bring a whole bunch of players. Look, good for him. Spend money on your team. But at some point, you're going to have to create a culture. At some point, you're going to have to allow a coach to come in and not just put together a soccer module and create that system that's going to carry your team for years to come. But you got to allow the players to feel like there's somebody in charge that's going to continue to build what they're going for. So for me, the timing was off. But although, again, I have no insight on the Javier Mascherano reasons for leaving, there's been a whole bunch of reports that he had issues with Rodrigo de Paul, that there were issues with some members of the front office. I don't believe all of it, but I'm picking up little bits and pieces that reminds me a lot of what I know happened with Tata Martino when he decided to part ways with Inter Miami. So it's a tough front office. It's a hot potato, as much as it's a cool job with a lot of responsibility and money and the stardom that comes to watch you, and being able to coach Lionel Messi is also a double-edged sword. And it's going to always be a difficult place to go and coach.
Yeah. Then, I mean, obviously, like I said, we're now. Then what do you do? I mean, do you go for the next big name? You sit there and you knock on Leo's door. Hey, dude, who do you want to bring in here to move things forward? Because I honestly thought that, with the past relationships with Tata Martino and Javier Mascherano, that this was part of the discussion. It's like, okay, who can we bring in to make better, for you, sir? And then you have the conversations where you try to figure out what's going on. And that's why I figured Mascherano was part of that discussion. Who's in now? Who? I sound like an owl all of a sudden, but who? Who
Yeah.
do you bring in?
Whoever Messi wants. Look, I hate to say it that way, but that's what it is. I mean, before hiring Javier Mascherano, I sat in this exact same show and said, look, Javier Mascherano has no trajectory as a head coach. He is being brought in just because he is Lionel Messi's friend. He might as well just be a puppet with, the ability to maybe call out certain substitutions and some formations. But it's what Messi wants, and it's what's going to keep Messi happy until he is out of there. So ask Messi. So I don't think it's going to be the biggest name. I don't think it's going to be Klopp. I don't think it's going to be Pep. I don't think it's going to be all of these European names. I think it's going to be somebody that has some sort of relationship with Lionel Messi. What's going to make him happy, that's going to allow him to still have a lot of say within that team. And it'll once again depend on the talent on the field and not the coaching on the bench.
Okay. And so obviously that's going to be the new Dos Mujeres Un Camino that we're going to be. It's the new telenovela. Hey man, I had to drop that reference in there. When anytime I have
I love that. Hey, that's very good.
Look, they had Eric Estrada when they brought him. The story goes that they wanted to bring in Eric Estrada to be a part of the soap, and when he shows up, they're like, "Okay, are you ready? We do this in Spanish." And Eric Estrada's like, "Man, I don't know a word of Spanish," and so they literally had to do things with him phonetically so he could do his lines on. I think it was on Dos Mujeres Un Camino. But that was just crazy. But yeah, that's the new telenovela down in South Florida. You've got a new stadium. You have new stadium. You have a new stadium. You have a new stadium, and you're 3-1-3, and you're still up there, kind of rocking and rolling. But yeah, I'm intrigued. I want to see what the decision process is and who they bring in now for the remainder of this season, if they bring in somebody, or if they're just going to sit tight and it's just go, yeah, okay, we're gonna do it this way. I'm intrigued, as the kids say. All right, let's get into the weekend. And LAG is a dog on the road at FC Dallas, considering that they've had to go through what they went through. Minnesota United, a massive at Portland. James Rodriguez finally gets to start in the midweek in Open Cup, and I guess that process is now finally underway. RSL at home, big home favorite against San Diego. Already talked about Seattle. So from the Saturday games, does anything stick out to you, either east or west, that you're looking at?
Yeah, looking at the schedule right before I hopped on here, the Dynamo Orlando City I was curious about, just because I'm taking, once again, goals, because we did pretty good with that in the Colorado-Houston game.
Yeah, you did. That was one of the slam dunks of the year. Slam dunk.
Yeah, we missed the mark on LAG and Portland. I mean, on LAFC and Portland, but when he came to that Houston game, so I'm curious what that's looking like, both the goal compost and the numbers.
Okay, so let's find out here what the all countries have to say. Like I said, I am trying to lock this down as best I can. So we're on hotel Wi-Fi, and so I'm trying to get hotel.
Oh, no problem. Now, in the meantime, I mean, look, Orlando had a pickup game, or a pick-me-up game. A 1-1, kind of a moral victory there with Columbus. Not brilliant by any means at all, but it was effective. And sometimes that's kind of all you need to kind of get your team going. I know that they also got lucky, and maybe lucky is a bad word when I'm talking about the injury to a player, but I feel like that was a turning point in the game, and it's sad, and I hope he recovers quickly. But Ali was definitely the one TNT, the gunpowder for Columbus, and once he went out, it was deflating. And so Orlando still takes care of business, right? They score early. Marco needs to continue to do more of that for this team to do anything. Martin Ojeda, I see him also in this rut that he's still not out of, even in this particular game. And Houston, on the other hand, they're exciting to watch. I like to see them play, but they just can't seem to put it together. And that defense is just terrible. So I don't know what defense is going to be worse in this game, Orlando or Dynamo.
3.5 is plus 125. That's where it starts.
4.5
is plus 300.
Yep. I'll take the 4.5. Give me the 4.5. Give me the 4.5. And you know what? I'm gonna put it on Houston. I'm gonna believe in Houston. I'm gonna leave it there. I do think that, again, look, I don't know if it is the talent on the field or maybe I have a soft spot for Benny, but there's a win coming, and I think Orlando might give it to him. So with the talent level against this Orlando team that is very bleak and flat, I think Houston can do it.
Oh, there's got to be a buyback. There's got to be a money back guarantee for Griezmann. On the point, plus 154 for Houston, and 4.5 is a plus 300. So that's what you're looking at with that. Oh Lord,
yeah, and when it comes to the rest of the games, RSL, I mean, I would take RSL. I just, obviously being favorite. I love RSL. San Diego struggling. I think that could be another game with a lot of goals. So maybe let's look at the goals for that specific game.
Okay, so RSL right now is a plus 1 over. San Diego's a plus 2.25. Getting into the goals with this one once again, and traditionally I'll start at 3.5 because that seems to be a point where they kind of sit there and they'll flip. 3.5 is a plus 138. Then 4.5 is a plus 300. So 3.5 a plus 138 seems like a pretty safe play. Then 4.5 if you're feeling kind of spicy at a plus 300.
Yeah, I like the 3.5. 3.5 is safe. I like it. I would actually just take it just like that. Because it could be a toss-up between these two teams. Like I said, I'm big on RSL. I mean, they just look excellent, and it's not just the talent level, but it's the collective play from this team on both ends of the ball. So I think that there's a superstar that is growing within Gozo. I like the attacking then. I think Luna's going to continue to come on. So yeah, that's a good one for sure. But let's look at least one of the East, and that Atlanta Nashville to me has draw written all over it.
Plus 250.
I have not been great with Atlanta, and I think it's because I have a little bit of my heart in Atlanta, and sometimes that shifts my stuff. Yeah. But I think that with the midweek game, with some almost definite rotation, and where Atlanta is, I'm gonna say that a draw is in the cards for that team.
Plus 250. And then we also have games in the midweek too, so we'll have 2 games to talk about for some folks. 11 matches on Wednesday. To get us through. But Sunday night soccer, LAFC, massive favorite at home, a minus 182, hosting San Jose. San Jose is a plus 450 and Raw is a plus 350.
Not touching it. Not touching it. I just want to watch it and enjoy it. Maybe the goal compos. Let's look at that. I might take a shot at that one. But look, it's going to be a fun game. I mean, usually your mind would tell you that LAFC is going to take this game and you might not get enough for your buck either way. And then again, if you get greedy and you go for the San Jose, then you might be disappointed. So yeah, I'm not touching that, but maybe the goal compos.
3.5 is a plus 110. 4.5 is plus 250.
3.5 is a what?
Plus 110.
Oh, okay. I heard you say 4.
4. Let's see. So 4 is a plus 250.
No. That 3.5 might be good. But look, this is going to be a fun game. I will tell you that I have moved San Jose from the yellow to the green light. I mean, they just have looked really good, and I can no longer in good conscience deny that they've surprised me, and that Bruce is Bruce and he's done magic, and he has fixed this car and put a couple of new wheels and new engine, and they're rolling, baby. They are rolling. Niko Shakiris has been a revelation. Love watching him play. I think Boda has been really good. They haven't even really needed that star power that they brought in Timo Werner necessarily, but the team is rolling. Good collective play. Defensively stout. I know that they haven't had the most difficult teams, but I feel like they're good enough for me to give them their due credit. So
right there with
I think that's going to be a good matchup. I do think LAFC will take it. But once again, we're talking about rotation. We're talking about a lot of other components that I want nothing to do with when it comes to the juice boxes.
Yes, and Shakiris is a revelation, not a revolution. One game in the midweek I want to discuss. Wednesday night, RSL at Rio Tinto, hosting Messi and friends. Wednesday night in Sandy, Utah. Right now, as we're talking, of course, we're 6 days away. Dog going to RSL at a plus 163. RSL favored at a plus 140 on Wednesday night.
Wow, that's very interesting.
That's why I brought that one up. Mm-hmm.
And you know what they say about that coach bump, but I mean, the coach bump might take place this weekend.
Well, and that thing, it's like coach bump is usually the first one, not the second.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Look, I think in transition, RSL could really put Inter Miami, and there's some really bad moments. I mean, Falcone has looked like a chicken with his head cut off multiple times. No idea what he's doing. I feel like out wide, they are very vulnerable, like they have been, I guess, for a very long time. But even with the new pieces, they still a team that is vulnerable out wide. So that's kind of RSL's bread and butter. So I just don't know if they match up well. I actually like RSL in that one early. We don't know what's going to happen this weekend, but early, I do like RSL.
All right, hit the promo for me. What do we need to know about what's going on and after you've had your third cup of coffee and a nap?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Well, you could find everything that we gathered from last night. Danny Masovsky, Christian Roldan, and of course, Jordan Morris talking to us at Pulso Sports. Go ahead and check that out. Some really good interviews. Tomorrow, we'll be recording what we learned this week right after training. We'll see what that's looking like. We'll probably be able to give you a good idea on what the rotation might look like for that St. Louis game. So check that out, of course, at the Sound of Our Heart Podcast Network, what we learned this week. Without Jeremiah, who's still in Cancun or somewhere in some beach in Mexico. So I'm going to have to be with Noah Rife in this particular episode. And then on Monday, Love and Scorchers, as always, we're going to break down the week that was in MLS, give you guys our thoughts on all of those games. Of course, focus mainly on the Sounders and the West Coast.
Yep. And just so you know, our dear friend Abby from the Twitch Pitch, thank you, Niko, for all you. That is the prevailing opinion, always has been, and we love you very much, my friend. And we will catch up with you next week, where we'll have 2 games to talk about from some folk, from others, and go get finish your third cup, head to the fourth, or get a nap or something. We'll see you in a bit.
Have a good one, guys.
All right, there goes Niko Moreno from Pulso Sports and Sounders. He's going to go collapse. He's going to go collapse. He is pounding that third cup of coffee, by the way, off camera. I can still see him in the green room. He is pounding that third cup of coffee. Let's get you into what to watch, where to watch, how to watch it, all the things, and a couple of pieces of breaking news. Moises Caicedo has agreed to a new Chelsea. Caicedo has handed improved terms to further recognize the squad's standing. First called Matt Law from the Daily Telegraph, and Cesar Luis Merlo follows his move to CAA base, and so that's the quick news on Moises Caicedo. Let's check. Let's see if there's anything else in Ben's purview that we need to know about this morning. In and around anything and everything, one of the busiest men in show business. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Richard Hughes is not going to leave Liverpool this summer, leading continued revamp. 3 to 4 senior players set to arrive. Al Hilal had genuine interest, but the Fenway Sports Group want Hughes to stay. So it looks like he is going to stay. Let's see. PIF confirming that Prince Al Walid bin Talal Al Saud's Kingdom Holding Company today signed a binding share purchase and sale agreement to 70% of Al Hilal. The PIF only ever intended to become a medium-term owner, so the sale was pre-planned for some time. Sales of Al Nasser, Al Ittihad, and Al Aqli also over the coming years. Al Nasser want Cristiano Ronaldo to buy a stake. And keep an eye on that. So Manchester City, once again, if you missed it when we started, Manchester City confirming Bernardo Silva is going to leave at the end of the season as a free agent. 451 appearances during 9 years, 19 major trophies, 6 Premier League titles, 1 Champions League. Bernardo Silva, quote, "When I arrived 9 years ago, I was following a dream of a little boy, wanting to succeed in life, wanting to achieve great things. This city and this club gave me much more than that, much more than I for. What we won and achieved together is a legacy that will forever be cherished in my heart. The Centurions, the domestic quadruple, the treble, the 4 in a row, and much more. It wasn't that bad. In a few months, it's time to say goodbye to the city where not only we won so much as a football club, but also where I started my marriage and my family from the bottom of my heart. Ines and Carlota, thank you." Hugo Ekitike ruptured his Achilles tendon, confirmed by Liverpool, out up to 9 months, and obviously missing World Cup. So that was the news overseas this morning from our friend Ben Jacobs. Now, gossip, rumor, and innuendo, what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. We'll get into that today, and we will be on our way. And full disclosure, so tonight, once again, it is we have the doubleheader on both SDH 1 and SDH 2. SoccerDownHere.net, go to the Listen tab. You have the chance to listen to Drew Dickinson calling Stars Mill, hosting McIntosh, 5:30 and 7:30. He will be on SDH 2. And Maddie and Jason will be at Bobby Gruen Field in City Park for Gainesville and Johnson. That is also 5:30 and 7:30. That's going to be on SDH 1. You go to the Listen tab at SoccerDownHere.net. You'll see the 2 channels up. If there is a live game going, you'll see the live notifier. Basically, it's a red siren in the upper corner. And so you can choose your games, or if you have more than one device, just fire them both up. Once again, rivalries to wrap up here on Vision Day. Johnson, Gainesville, and SDH 1 with Maddie and Jason. Bobby Gruen Field in City Park. We're anticipating a stacked building tonight. Then is McIntosh at Stars Mill, Battle for the Troops, and that is 5:30 and 7:30 as well. Region standings and big region rivals and area rivals there for that one. So that one is tonight, 5:30 and 7:30. Drew on the Deuce, Maddie and Jason on the Mothership tonight, 5:30, 7:30. SoccerDownHere.net/listen. Now, also on the board, we wanted to get into the actual. If I could actually type, I think I'd be in good shape. So if we go here and run through everything. Apparently Cristiano Ronaldo suffered stomach pains in his last Saudi match, and he was not able to apparently hold down his previous meal. David Beckham is saying that Miami is not going to rush their head coach search. And let's see. So Real Madrid was not happy over a call that was not made, and they have been more than happy to tell anybody and everybody about that. Newcastle United's poor run of form recently has rumors surrounding the future manager Eddie Howe. According to talks, PIF is looking for a big name replacement. Names on the board: Moreno, Mancini, Iraola, leaving at the end of the season. All options. Newcastle set to make a €50 million move for Sporting center back Ousmane Diomande again this summer, according to Football Insider. Liverpool leading the race to sign Marcus Senesi from Bournemouth, according to iNews, set to become a free agent when his contract expires in the summer. Reported a switch to Anfield, most likely his destination, as they look for a long-term replacement for Virgil van Dijk. Senesi started 31 of 32 matches for the Cherries this year, linked to United, Chelsea, and Barca. Chelsea also interested in midfielder Alex Scott, according to The Independent, identified the 22-year-old as a potential replacement for Enzo Fernandez, who's been linked to Real Madrid by his own and by others. The Premier League side expected to accelerate their interest in summer to face some competition, which would require an offer worth well over £15 to secure it. Manchester City closely monitoring the situation of Feyenoord right back Givido Reed, according to Sky. Keen on strengthening them because despite the impressive performances of Mateus Nunes, expected to explore the market for replacements and reinforcements in the midfield and on the forward line. Reed is also on the radar of Bayern Munich and other teams in the Prem. Barcelona set to step pursuit of Palmeiras forward Eduardo Conceição, according to AS. Grana reported closing in on a move for the 16-year-old, despite his release clause being set at €100 million. Palmeiras prepared to accept an offer worth 50. According to the Times, Kyle, who represents Brazil at the U17 level, is also being watched by Manchester City, Chelsea, and PSG. Team talk. Arsenal and Chelsea among the teams watching. Como defender Jacobo. Gunners, according to Caught Offside, will look to offload Gabriel Jesus and Kai Havertz to land Atletico striker Julian Alvarez. Sport that Barcelona ready to be in talks as they push to sign Internazionale center back Alessandro Bastoni. Everton keen on a move for Ivan Toney from the league we don't talk about, according to Football Insider. Football Insider, United have moved ahead of City in the race for Sporting midfielder Morten Schulman. Bild, Chelsea and Everton are monitoring Bremen defender Karim Koulibaly. Newcastle willing to listen to offers for Anthony Gordon amid interest from Bayern Munich, according to the BBC. Juve keen on Alisson, Bernardo Silva, and Pierre Højbjerg from Marseille, according to Corriere dello Sport. Back to Football Insider. Liverpool and Newcastle interested in left winger Jeremy Monga. Gazzetta is also saying Juve defender Gleason Bremer is on the radar of Premier League clubs. Corriere dello Sport. Napoli, AC Milan, Internazionale, and Juve are all tracking Bayern Munich midfielder Leon Goretzka. Nikola Shira has Dinamo Zagreb deciding against activating the permanent option clause to sign midfielder Ismail Benacer from AC Milan, and Internazionale dreaming of signing Diego Simeone as manager next time around. So good luck on that if you are that club. All right, what to watch, where to watch it. Watch it from our friends at Fanati's, fntz.co/soccer down here. That link is important. Helps them, helps us, and helps you by adding more matches. You're watching Fanati's, you get BN, home of AFCON, and you get everything in the continent. You get AFC Champions League, you get qualifiers, you get everything on there. You also get access to the Turkish League, the French League, and the Polish League, and all of their chaos. You get Libertadores, Sudamericana, and keep an ear out for new Libertadores programming. Howard Hamilton inching closer to 100 episodes. He's got episode 98 out after what happened during the week. Keep an eye out for 99 and 100. And send Serpentina to Howard so he can have the proper celebration in episode 100. You've got that. You also can get on Fanati's a lot of the A and B divisions from a lot of other countries in South America, Paraguay, Uruguay, Colombia. It's all there. Liga One Max Pro out of Peru, TVV if you want to add Venezuela to your programming, and CDO as well. So a lot of different things that you can get on Fanati's at fntz.co/ down here. So today, Libertadores, Palmeiras Sporting Cristal, Flamengo Medellin, 6 and 8:30, Sudamericanas at 10, Cienciano, and Academia Puerto Cabello. Europa League today, as is Europa Conference, Celta de Vigo and Freiburg at 12:45, Betis and Braga at 3, BN and Español simulcasting Libertadores and Sudamericana. It is Europa League being simulcast on TUDN and Unimas. Paramount has League One at 2:45, all 4 Europa League, all 4 Conference League matches. Celta de Vigo, Freiburg at 12:45, the other at 3, Aston Villa, Bologna, Forest and Porto, Betis and Braga. Conference League has AZ Alkmaar, Shakhtar Donetsk at 12:45, AEK Athens, Rayo Vallecano, Fiorentina, Crystal Palace, Strasbourg, and Mainz. They are at 3 o'clock, and that gets you through everything going on today in and around what to watch, where to watch it, and how to watch it at Fanati's, fntz.co/soccer down here. Once again, if you, since we spent a lot of time on Open Cup, great to catch up with Nino and Niko as we always do in the Power Hour in hour number 2 on Thursdays. If there's anything that we missed, you can catch that at Morning Espresso, and you can get that. Once again, you go to soccerdownhere.net, you go into the read section. There's there's like a box where you enter your email, and then you start getting the Morning Espresso from Jason. It's Jason's thoughts on the day. Like I said, I use it as a reference point if there's anything that I have forgotten that I need to add when it comes to information, and he can go into other places because we only have 2 hours. I never thought I would say that, but yeah, I did kind of, sort of. So he goes into what happened last night in all the competitions. Once again, One Knox being the number one stunner. It's kind of like when you're in Open Cup. It reminds me of the college basketball tournament, where if one night is really crazy, the next night's kind of chalk. And we had the kind of chalk night last night. The only, once again, the big upset was One Knox going into PKs, winning 6-5, 3-3, scoring later than late. And then you end up with 6-5 in the in the PKs, and you end up with one Knox making it to the round of 16. So 3 teams from lower division have made it through. It is Louisville. It is one Knox, and I think one Knox would be one to get since they are the League One team, so they would be the one to get the rather large check, and I mean both physically and it means a lot to them. So also domestically, NWSL is working through their footwear sponsorship policy. That's something that you catch up with all of them, and it is everything else going on in and around the planet. You have Shunsuke Nakamura joining Japan's World Cup staff. You have Ranieri and Gasparini at a difference at Roma. You also have all of the recaps of everything as you get ready for today. All right, tomorrow, once again, it is Friday. We get you ready for the weekend. And Lokeville, thank you for the kind words as well. It means a lot that we are able to do this. And like I said, we couldn't do this without you guys on a daily basis with all of the faith and the following that you've given us over time. So all the pieces and all the folks that come in and join us on a daily basis, it's great to see everybody when we're out in the community. It's great to catch up with you on Twitch Pitch and on social and all of that. And we want to start your day the right way with all the information that we think you need to get you moving when it comes to, regardless of level and regardless of location. Tomorrow, Lucas Panzica is going to join us off the top from 104.5 The Zone in Nashville. He is going to break down Nashville after the boys in gold got the big win at the Azteca, what to expect as they're coming to Mercedes-Benz. How rotated will they be? See if our friends from Beyond Goals Mentoring are around. And then also our friends from Apple TV are going to be joining us as they always do at 10 o'clock. I have an inside track on who it's going to be. I have an inside track. It is not officially official yet, but our intended guest is trying to move guests around, move the rest of their day around. And so hopefully this particular individual who is a normal, he is part of our normal rotation, part of the La Familia. And it gives the chance to catch up with this guest if he can move some stuff around and be with us at 10 o'clock. And we're also efforting another couple of folks to see if they can join us before the end of the week. And we get you ready for the weekend with anything and everything going on in the world of soccer. So for everybody that was in Chattanooga last night, whether it was with us, whether it was the fans that drove up to be a part of the 8,000 plus that were there last night for Atlanta United and Chattanooga FC, thanks for making the trip up. Hopefully you've gotten home safely, and or maybe you're just still sleeping and you're trying to recover from a very late night. We'll see you on the weekend at Mercedes-Benz. We'll see you back here tomorrow for another go round of SDH AM. 5:30, 7:30, high school doubleheader on SDH 1 and 2, soccerdownhere.net/listen. Gainesville, Johnson, Gainesville, McIntosh, and Stars Mill. Playoffs start next week. When we know where we're going, we'll let you know where we're going as well. So for everybody here, to all of you there, thanks for being a part of things. We've survived technology in a hotel room, and we're heading home in a little bit because I got to kind of clean up the mess and everything and wrap things up here. So back at it again tonight, 5:30, 7:30, 2 double headers on the network, back here in a little less than 22 hours. And since it is the end of the show, I'll play it safe. We'll catch up with you in a bunch of different ways here on the network. That means I get to do this. Back at it again from here. Well, not from SDH AM Studios back in Atlanta. That'll be tomorrow morning. We'll have our answers when it comes to brackets for the most part, except for power rankings. Follow that all the way through. Be safe. Stay cool. We'll catch up with you either tomorrow, Saturday, tonight, or all three. See you in a bit.